All right, we're on. Hey guys, how's it going? It is time for the weekly DCAU book club. If you weren't here last week, we started going over the Justice League: A Golden Opportunity, and by we, I mean me, mostly. You guys in the chat were. Sorry, my lungs are still kind of crappy, but you guys in the chat were here with me as well. I think so. Last week we went through the prologue and the first two chapters. This guy that's working as a security guard in an antique shop found this box, and the box has some kind of magical powers to it that I think Mordred and Morgan Le Fay have some attachment to. We haven't seen either of them show up yet, but it's been kind of hinted at. And he ended up taking it to. He was supposed to take it to some certain address, but instead he stopped at the Daily Planet building, and then all of a sudden ogres attacked Superman, who was there because he was having to finish up an article about a dog show that happened earlier in the afternoon. And then Superman wrapped his cape around two ogres and slung it around and threw them down an elevator shaft into a car that was in the lobby or something. And then they ended up on the watchtower. Superman has a rebreather that can breathe in space. John Jones was there. Batman was there. And I think the Flash was there. There was a lot going on in those first two chapters, but we're going to go ahead and hop right into chapter 3. I'm going to try to be more in with the chat this time. Last time I just did it in chapter breaks, but I think what I'm going to try to do is like every 4 to 5 pages, hop over to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Maybe even less pages than that. The giraffe balloon is back in the background. He was there at not last time. I think he was in there in a Patreon hangout, maybe. So some of you guys might not have seen the giraffe balloon. Yeah, that boy. There were ogres. There's 2 ogres. I don't know their names. There's Ogre 1 and Ogre 2, but it's exciting. So now that we've got the recap out of the way, chapter 3. Where do we begin to look for... I'm not in my reading head yet. Where do we begin to look for info about this thing? Flash asked as the Javelin 7 approached Earth's atmosphere. He sat in the co-pilot seat beside Batman, who was piloting the shuttle. It's not like there's crowns and things stored at the mall. Is this Batman? I've consulted with the curator of antiques at the Metropolis Museum of Art on a few cases in the past, Batman explained. He may be able to point us in the right direction. I don't even know if that's consistent with my Batman voice from last week, but we'll deal with it. Good idea, Superman said. He'd been pacing nervously during the short flight, anxious to start finding answers. Anyone who might shed a bit of light on this mystery is worth talking to. Sounds like a plan, Flash said, always reluctant to let anyone, even his most respected teammates, have the last word. Then the 3 settled into silence for the remainder of the journey. A short while later, Batman guided the Javelin 7 to a secluded spot just outside Metropolis. Easing the shuttle gently to the ground, he brought the enormous ship to rest among the grove of trees where it would remain hidden from prying eyes. I'll fly Batman to the museum, Superman said to Flash as the 3 heroes disembarked. We'll meet you there. I'll be waiting for you, Flash said with a smile and a quick wave. He vanished in a streaking red blur. Superman put an arm around Batman, then rose into the sky. They kissed. Headed toward downtown Metropolis. The Flash is certainly sure of him. Oh, the Flash is certainly sure of himself, Batman pointed out as the skyline of the great city came into view beneath them. Almost cocky. He's young, Superman said. He'll learn. I don't remember ever being that young, Batman replied. I don't think you ever were, Bruce, Superman said, smiling sadly at his friend. Come to think of it, neither was I, he added softly. Among the many bonds the 2 great heroes shared were their unusual childhoods. their feelings of being outsiders. As a young boy, Bruce Wayne had watched in horror as his parents were murdered by a street thug. That event caused the devastated child to devote his life to fighting crime and led to his career as the Batman. Superman's childhood was even more unusual. Born on the distant planet Krypton, he was placed as an infant into a rocket and sent to Earth by his birth parents shortly before his homeworld exploded. Raised on a farm by adoptive parents, the Man of Steel was truly an outsider, not even of this world, but immensely grateful for the loving couple who had raised him on Earth. Still, he was always curious about his real parents and the world of Krypton. Neither hero had asked for the great responsibility that they had chosen to shoulder, but both had come to accept their roles as defenders of justice. It was this, more than anything else, that had enabled the two men to form their strong connection to each other. And then they kissed. Again. A few minutes later, the tall marble columns of the Metropolis Museum of Art came into view. The massive white building, home to some of the world's greatest treasures, sprawled at the edge of Centennial Park, the city's largest park. As Superman drifted to the ground, placing Batman down beside him, he spotted Flash standing at the museum's entrance. The speedster's arms were crossed over his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. "Nice of you to show up," Flash joked, glancing at his wrist, pretending to look at a watch that wasn't there. "You guys took so long, I think I became an antique myself." "Follow me," said the Dark Knight, ignoring as usual Flash's quips and leading the way inside. "Boy, he's cheery," Flash said as Superman walked past him. "You should see him in a bad mood," Superman replied. Batman led the way through the museum's main hall, where ancient suits of armor, swords, and lances greeted visitors. The building contained more than 2 million works of art, spanning more than 5,000 years of world culture, including paintings by great European masters, ancient African stone, and ivory sculptures, priceless pottery from Asia, and the largest collection of mummies anywhere outside of Egypt among its many treasures. All right, so that's the first 4 pages. So what I'm gonna do is I've got a spreadsheet for notes. I talked to you guys about this last time. For those of you who weren't here, we've got with Watchtower Database, what we do when we're reading stuff or taking notes on something for like Will It Canon is we break down like. If it's a comic, we'll break it down by issue. If it's like a show like Teen Titans, we'll break it down by episode. But essentially, we break it down like that and then go by like the appearances, like which characters showed up in that episode, that issue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have like stuff that could knock it out of canon, stuff that like references in-show events, stuff that references like time periods, time lapsing, anything like that for like timeline kind of stuff. Column for like stuff that was concretely introduced, kind of like how there's an exact introduction to the bat signal in the Cape and Cow conspiracy, or there's like an exact introduction of the Justice League. Stuff that just kind of shows up like Howard Groot in Batman Beyond. It's like, okay, we know the first episode he showed up, but it doesn't specifically say, hey, I am meeting this character for the first time. So stuff like that doesn't end up counting for that. That's why like I say concrete rather than just first appearance. Then we've got a column for pop culture references, a column for weather, and then a column for other clues. Nobody new has shown up so far in this chapter, so the appearances I'll leave blank. Non-canon, I haven't come across anything along those lines yet. In-show events, I guess theoretically they kind of recapped the last Son of Krypton with Superman's whole spiel about his parents. Well, I guess technically Superman and Batman's parents were both mentioned, so I should probably put them in the appearances. Martha Wayne mentioned. Thomas Wayne mentioned. It's Martha and Jonathan Kent, right? Yeah, Martha Kent mentioned. Jonathan Kent mentioned And then Jor-El was mentioned. Like they weren't mentioned by name, but when it says his parents, like you know who it is, Jor-El. And then what was his actual mom's? Let me Google that real quick. One of y'all is probably gonna tell me in the chat, but there's a whole like 5-second lag. So Lara, yeah, that's right. That's what I thought, but I felt like Laura was too much of an Earth name. But yeah, that's right. So that's the new characters. We've got the in-show events of Last Son of Krypton. Let me put a text wrapping on that so that it's not bugging me. There we go. Mentions of time. Flash is said to be young. And then what this museum has. Museum has art spanning 5,000 years. And then there's not really anything concrete, whether other clues, anything like that. What are y'all up to in the chat? Oh shoot, there's a lot of you guys going on right now. Giant ogres that can wrapped up together in Clark's cape. Yes, please. I assume the yes, please was it's either about the ogres or about Batman and Superman kissing. Either way, yes, please to both. It reminds me, I think Dave Rubin, this morning, retweeted a fake Nintendo of America account that posts Mario and Luigi kissing each other. And like it was the tweet was talking about how like Nintendo has like people of all orientations and they support all that. And Dave Rubin thought it was a real account and got butthurt about it and was like, they're brothers, blah, blah, blah. Like, Dave, there's not even a check mark. Come on. Here come the fuzz. Wait, what? That's the origin story of Batman? Yeah, never would have guessed that was their origin. I wish we could see all the Easter eggs in the museum. Egg baby sound effects. Oh, God, that'd be too many. That is a nice giraffe balloon. New Watchtower database mascot. His name is George. Groovy. Why did you say that name, Laura? Yeah, see, I told you guys. You guys would tell me what it is, and then there's a little bit of a lag. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and move to the next page. On the top floor, the group trekked past a series of flags of ancient civilizations hung from a row of flagpoles lining the wall. Nearby, a display filled with sculpted bronze demons and dragons made for an imposing sight. Nasty, Flash commented, looking back at the grotesque figures frozen forever in time. Batman turned down a narrow corridor away from the display areas to a suite of offices. Pausing before a wooden door labeled Antiques Curator, he knocked gently. A soft voice from inside instructed them to enter. Opening the heavy door, the trio strode into a small office crowded with artifacts. Its walls were lined with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, overflowing with large leather-bound volumes. Stacks of papers and photographs covered every surface, and the room had the familiar musty smell of an old bookstore or someone's long-neglected attic. At the far end of the office, practically buried behind piles of books and papers, sat a small man with long gray hair and a full, unkempt white beard. His clothes looked as if they belonged among the antiques, and his wrinkled, delicate fingers grasped a magnifying glass, through which he peered at a small stone sculpture of a cat. Hello. Oh, hello. That's not Batman. Hello, Dr. Milton, Batman said. That's still not a good Batman. The man looked up from his work. Well, Batman, he said cheerily, placing the magnifying glass down on his desk before standing and extending his right hand. Always a pleasure to see you. He shook Batman's hand with surprising vigor for a man of his diminutive stature and fragile appearance. Doctor, we have a problem, Batman explained, stepping aside to reveal his companions to the doctor. Well, well, Dr. Milton said brightly, extending his hand again. Superman, this is quite an honor. A pleasure to meet you, sir, the man of steel said, taking the doctor's hand. Ahem. The Flash cleared his throat loudly. Does anyone have a cracker? because I feel like chopped liver right about now. Superman laughed. I'm sorry. Doctor, this is the Flash. Dr. Milton's completed the sentence. Central City's protector and the fastest man alive, right? Well, yeah, Flash replied, surprise unmistakable in his voice. Nice to meet you, Doc. I can see you're a man of taste. I must admit that I follow the exploits I must admit that I follow the exploits of the Justice League rather closely, Dr. Milton explained. A pleasant hobby and a welcome diversion from my explorations into the past. I never miss an article in the Planet about your work. But you didn't come here to listen to an old man ramble. Tell me, what can I do for you? Batman pulled out the photo of the Golden Crown and handed it to Dr. Milton. Can you tell us anything about this? The Dark Knight asked. The doctor studied the image carefully, scratching his thick beard and going over the photo with his magnifying glass. How did you come into possession of this item? Asked the doctor. Superman quickly recounted the events of the crown's delivery, carefully avoiding the details of his life as Clark Kent. It appears to be Welsh in origin, Dr. Milton began, but it's difficult to pinpoint the exact time period or the specific royal figure who might have worn it. Some of the gems on this crown are quite rare and valuable, and a few I can't even identify. Dr. Milton put down the photo and his magnifying glass. I feel like I should be giving Dr. Milton a bit more of an old man voice, but I don't know if I have an old man voice. I have a colleague who owns an No, I'm not going to do that. I have a colleague who owns an antique shop here in town called Ancient Treasures, he explained. He specializes in items from the British Isles. I could think of no one better qualified to help you track down the origin of this. Grrr. A guttural growl like that of a wild beast shattered the austere quiet of the curator's office. Flash sped from the room and raced back through the narrow corridors. When he reached the display area, he was stunned by the sight of one of the bronze demons he had seen on the way in. The ancient sculpted creature had somehow come alive and climbed down from its perch on the wall, and it now snarled at the Flash, exposing its razor-sharp teeth and needle-like claws. Its face was a grotesque mass of distorted features, its body lean and muscular. Houston, Flash said as Batman and Superman joined him, we've got a problem. Roar! More than one, Batman said. As the sculpted demon closed in on the three heroes, a bronze dragon swooped down from above, unleashing a stream of fire, scattering the heroes and scorching the marble floor. What is going on? Dr. Milton cried, catching up to the others. Get back, Dr. Milton, Superman shouted. I don't know how, but somehow these statues have come alive. The terrified curator raced back to his office, slamming and locking the door behind him. Cling, clank, cling, clank. What now? Flash asked, glancing toward the stairway leading up from the lower floors. As the metallic clanging grew louder, the hero saw an army composed of living mummies methodically making its way up the stairs toward them. Each mummy grasped an ancient weapon in one hand and a shield in the other. The approaching collection of bandaged, rotted corpses banged the two together as they marched. I know museums are supposed to bring the past alive, Flash said, but this is ridiculous! And that is the end of chapter 3. So let's see. That's not the right tab. Other characters that were brought in. We now have a Dr. Milton, and then we have a just demon, demon 1. Then we have a dragon, and then we have a horde of mummies. So those are our new characters. Was there any timeline, anything? Let's see. He was talking about Welsh stuff. But that was all that was. I think. Oh, we got a for the pop culture. We got a Houston. We have a problem. From Flash. So that's whoa. I have this really bad this I don't know if maybe I just have fat fingers, but I'll constantly be typing things and like I'll capitalize one letter and then the second letter will also be capitalized because of I don't know the reasons, but probably fat fingers. And wrap and is this lighting fine? I feel like it's kind of dark in here. It's usually dark for Vanishing Point. I've got like a spotlight on me. But you know, I don't know what's going on. Oh, hey there. Why did you say that name, Laura? I guess Laura L is an alternate future of Superman. Just Googled it. Dang, he missed George's context. What is George's context? What is George's context? Was there something going on in the? I don't know what George's context is. Yo, I'm playing Arkham Origins right now, and holy hell, I don't remember all these frame drops and lag. I really wanted to. I want to replay Arkham Origins again really soon. I'm almost done with Lego Batman 3. I finished the game, but I like to 100% stuff before moving on to the next thing. So I'm at 97% right now. But then again, I still want to get the DLC on that too. I'm kind of broke though. I tried to monetize the channel, and come to find out, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time before you can even do that. So you know, if you guys aren't subscribed, subscribe. If you guys are here watching, I think that helps the watch time hours. So that's good. It's a good thing that I've started doing these. Sounds familiar. Don't forget locations, vehicles, and gadgets. Metropolis, Krypton, the museum, Javelin 7, Watchtower. James, I don't think I ever really paid much attention to the locations. I think that was more your thing. But I will, I'll do you a favor. When I go back through the audio, I'll type out locations. Concrete is a big category. Tell me about it. Concrete and concrete accessories. Have you read Deceased? I have not. Ted has been reading Deceased, but I am still a broke boy. I just got my paycheck, and after paying the bills with it, I can't cash it until Saturday. But after taking care of what bills I need to take care of, I'm going to have $10 left in this paycheck. And I've already contacted my old night job to be like, hey, can I at least come back for the summer? And they said, yeah, let me talk to the boss and I'll follow up with you on that. So hopefully I hear back from them soon, because I'm ready to start as soon as next week. Daily Plant. The Welsh, I should have known. Gruntilda, is that you? I love Banjo-Kazooie. I've been wanting to replay those games recently too. I thought Wally West was from Keystone City. No, I think was he from Keystone City in Superman the Animated Series? That's interesting. I'm looking that up right now because that does sound familiar. So DCAU Wiki, who I'm feuding with right now, not anything seriously, but you know, let's see, what does it say? In the comic, Central City has various blah blah blah. Has been located in Ohio, approximately where the real world Athens, Ohio lies, and in Missouri across the latter is the currently accepted official location. Okay, so it's across from Keystone City, so it's close. The giraffe balloon behind me. Oh, okay, that's George. Gotcha. Shit, I still have to 100% Lego Batman 3. I've done all the other ones besides that. Correct, you don't. James, I'm a big boy. No, that's Jake Eric. He's from Keystone in the comics. It's always been Central City or the Central Keystone area in DCAU. Actually, Blue Valley in the comics, I think. Blue Valley is the isn't Blue Valley like an ice cream? Oh, I want some ice cream. So ever since that whole milkshaking thing has happened, where they've started throwing milkshakes at far-right politicians, it's really gotten me in the mood for milkshakes lately. I've had like 3, I think, since that started, and that was less than a month ago. Usually my milkshake consumption is like 1 every 3 months. I feel like it's counterintuitive because I stopped drinking soda for my New Year's resolution. And now here I am drinking 3 milkshakes a month as if that's healthy. Chick-fil-A peach. Ugh. Get that Chick-fil-A nonsense out of the chat. Bump that. When I wasn't a vegetarian, Chick-fil-A was delicious. I became a vegetarian, and then the whole come to find out Chick-fil-A is anti-gay thing happened, and I was like, well, this is going to be easy to give up now. I've been to Chick-fil-A once since becoming a vegetarian, like, 6-7 years ago, and all I got was what was it, just a fruit bowl? Like, Chick-fil-A doesn't have vegetarian options, really. That being said, we're going to hop into Chapter 4. The marching mummies advance slowly but steadily, brandishing their weapons. We've got to neutralize... Oh, that's Batman. We've got to neutralize those 2, Batman said, pointing at the living statues, so we can deal with that army. I'll distract the dragon, Flash volunteered, dashing right at the bronze beast. After that very short amount of words, they put a page break. I don't understand why they didn't just put that at the end of chapter 3. The demon leapt onto Superman, its needle-shaped claws digging into his chest. The Man of Steel cried out in pain, stumbling backward, grabbing the demon by its arms. He struggled with all his super strength to pry it loose, but found he couldn't budge the snarling beast. And then they kissed. Batman reacted swiftly, pulling a batarang from his utility belt and flinging it at the growling bronze creature. Thwack! The spinning, sharp-edged disc struck the demon on the neck, slicing its gruesome head cleanly from its shoulders, sending it toppling to the marble floor, where it lay motionless. Superman tossed the once again lifeless bronze body aside. You okay? Batman asked. This Batman voice does stuff to me, man. I'm not meant to talk that deep. I don't know why I had my water all the way behind the computer. It's out of frame right here, so I'm keeping it next to me now. I hope that doesn't bug you guys. I'll live, Superman replied. But I feel like my Superman voice keeps going back and forth. But even as the pain in his chest eased, the concern in his mind grew. He wondered how the creature had been able to hurt him so easily, but knew that an answer to this question would have to wait. He turned his attention back to the battle. How's Flash doing? The Scarlet Speedster raced towards the dragon, his eyes locked on the creature's mouth. At the first indication that the dragon was about to unleash a blast of flames, Flash swerved to the side, avoiding the streaming inferno. The dragon paused mid-flight, startled by the apparent disappearance of the crimson target that had been there just a moment before. You have got to do something about that breath, babe, the Flash said from behind the dragon. He had been so concerned about the creature's flame-throwing mouth that he neglected to focus on its whip-like tail, which swung hard and fast into his chest. I feel like my Flash impersonation is like halfway between my actual voice and like my Sonic impersonation, which I've been told is pretty decent, but I've only ever done like a couple lines in my Sonic voice, so it's like I don't think that's something that that I can keep going for a while. But I did actually try out to be like the voice of Sonic in a Sonic fan film, and once I sent in my my reel, they said they had already chosen someone, so that could have been my claim to fame. The Flash sailed through the air and over a nearby railing, the marble floor 7 stories below rushing toward him. Museum visitors, who had gathered in the main hall to watch the bizarre battle above, gaped in horror of the plummeting crimson-clad hero. Whoosh! From the corner of his eye, Flash spotted a blue and red blur. When his downward plunge stopped, he found himself cradled in Superman's arms. There's so much homoerotic stuff going on in this book. I love it. I love it. They're cradling each other. They're flying, holding each other. They're all just big old gays with each other. The Justice League, the L in League stands for LGBT. The Justice LGBT, something like that. Thanks, big guy, he said as the Man of Steel flew back to the top level of the museum. Note to self, the back end of a dragon can be just as dangerous as the front. I feel like I'm slipping more towards the Sonic side of this impersonation. By the time they landed, the army of living mummies had almost reached Batman. The Dark Knight tossed a batarang at the flying dragon, but the breath melted it in midair with a stream of its fire breath. It next unleashed another flaming blast right at Batman, who dove and tumbled out of the way. Spotting a long, sharp lance in the hands of an approaching mummy, Flash had a brainstorm. Wait till you see me coming back, he said to Superman, then distract the dragon. Speeding toward the oncoming army, Flash snatched a lance from a soldier in the front line of marchers. I'll just borrow this for a sec. If you don't mind, he said, or even if you do. When Superman spotted the Flash racing back toward the dragon, he fired a blast of heat vision at the beast, which struck it in the throat. Annoyed but unharmed, the dragon turned his attention toward the Man of Steel, unleashing a stream of fire. Superman leapt away at the last second, and the flames shot spectacularly over the railing above the heads of the crowds watching below. Running at blinding speed, the Flash speared the dragons from behind, driving the lance deep into its bronze body. With a final pained roar, the creature dropped to the floor, writhing in agony, then fell motionless, which is when the army attacked. The undead soldiers swung their ancient blades at Batman, who ducked to avoid one swipe, then jumped up onto one of the flagpoles protruding from the wall to escape another. Superman joined the fray, pounding 2 soldiers at a time with punishing blows, clearing the front line of advancing combatants. So that's the first 4 pages of that chapter. What you guys got going on? See, there's the Chick-fil-A. Damn, I want a strawberry milkshake right now. Bro, okay. So where I've been going to Burger King for milkshakes, and they've got the Oreo milkshake, and you can get it with chocolate, and that is so good. Your body recognizes what it's missing. No soda equals crave milkshakes. Yeah, no. Honestly, like just stopping sugar in general has been very difficult. I like when I decided to stop drinking, I got very heavily into eating a lot of candy to kind of make up for the sugar intake there. And then as I stopped doing the candy as much, and then I stopped, doing the soda, my body like definitely was like not okay with me for a while. And like I've tried to get to a place where I'm kind of balancing it a little bit better. Like I'll drink sweet tea. Like I said, I've got the milkshakes, but like it's not to the amount where like I was beforehand. Like my girlfriend and I were for a little while I still had the second job and had a lot of money. We were going to the dispensary all the time. and just getting a lot of pot, and then buying a lot of junk food instead of buying actual groceries, and a lot of sugar intake. And as I quit the second job, and there wasn't as much money for that, my body has been still trying to readjust. And so like right now, my main sugar intake is sweet tea, and sometimes like my coffee. I'm trying to like cut back on the coffee though, because like I've never been a huge coffee person, but I started drinking coffee every morning for like a month or so, and I was like, I don't need to be doing this to myself. I'm the type of person that like I can be alert without the caffeine, but once you put the caffeine in me, like it, if I have one like drink, I can be up off the walls. But once it starts being a daily occurrence, it's more like you need the caffeine to get going rather than like being able to kind of do it on your own. Caffeine is essentially a drug, and the body will adjust itself for that, and put you through caffeine withdrawals. And I started noticing that in myself, and I was like, I don't want to deal with that, because I've been there a time or two before, and it's not something I am about. Let's see. Superman is the first to go down. This could be season 1. I think that it's I think that it's a little bit later. It said in last like chapter 2, I think it said that Superman and Batman have been working together for years. So it seems to, like, with the way that the timeline works, I think most of season 1 is, or it said many years is the thing. So it makes me think like 3 years instead of a few years, which would be like 2 years. So I think it's more into season 2, but like if there's anything that suggests it's closer to season 1, then it can easily be like, well, it doesn't say specifically how many years. 2 could be many years to some people, I guess. But I don't know. Flash sounds like Carl Weezer, or Flash should sound like Carl Weezer. Come on the show and read Flash's parts, Dan. Why is this a book, but it has more Why is this a book, but it has more constant action and less plot/character stuff than the animated freaking show? That's a great question. I was actually just thinking about that. Like, not a lot has happened except for these dudes are punching each other. It's there's not really a lot of development. Flash should sound like young Lex Luthor in Kansas. Oh, I don't know how to do a young Lex Luthor voice. And not just constant action, constant context-free action. What are the stakes to / meaning of any of this? That's a great question. I don't feel super attached to anything that's been going on. They're just punching bad guys, I guess. I mean, it's for young readers, and young readers don't like I said on Discord, it's like a 9-chapter book plus an epilogue and a prologue. So it's not like there's a lot going on. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's that. There's someone in the Discord that keeps asking us to do a Will It Canon for these games. Justice Unbound or something like that, and Toxic Chill. Justice Unbalanced. Okay. There's a look at the. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but like the pictures they're using are so pixely, it's wild. Let's see. Pens or wood? I don't know what that question means, so I don't know how to answer it. For me, I love Steak and Shake's milkshake. Steak and Shake is pretty good. Quick question. Who wrote this story, and how would you judge the quality of the action? Asking because I want to get an idea if how I should handle my fights in my Teen Titans fic. So it was written by Michael Teitelbaum. I don't know off the top of my head anything else that he's written before. I feel like as far as the action goes, it could be decent for like in a script for like direction or something like that. But I don't feel like it works very well as a book. I feel as though, like I definitely, as I've been reading, I was like, this feels kind of fanficky, you know, like I feel like Legacies of the DCAU is a little bit better than this. Oh, this guy, that's interesting. If this is the same Michael Teitelbaum, he wrote stuff such as The Fear of Population Decline, political 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 demography, demographic engineering, the British fertility decline, the global, what is this? The global spread of fertility decline, population fear, and uncertainty. There's no way this is the same guy. It has the Marvel Encyclopedia on it. Wait, hold on. There's another Michael Teitelbaum. Okay, this looks a little bit more right. Wrote a Golden Book of the Little Mermaid. Wrote Sonic the Hedgehog, Fortress of Fear. Wrote a Sleeping Beauty adaptation. Wrote The Earth Kingdom for wrote a couple Avatar books. Wrote a book for Tonka Trucks. Interesting. Yeah, this is the right Michael Teitelbaum. Looks like he also wrote a Martin Luther King Jr. Book and a Jackie Robinson book. Ooh, he wrote something for Donkey Kong Country. This is the ADHD happening. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Zero Zot. While you tried to correct the usage of 2 N's in canon, but you activated my trap card. Sick is Wikipedia speak for I misspelled it on purpose. Oh, okay. Gotcha. You're talking to someone else in the chat. I'm seeing message retracted from Eric Gonzalez. Why is it doing that? What is... Did it just show up as message retracted for everyone else? Is there something going on? Is Eric Gonzalez saying some bad words and it's being censored by YouTube itself? Or did he type something that... I don't know what is going on here. Hey, Diego, you activated my Yu-Gi-Oh reference. Okay, gotcha. So you guys are just chit-chatting with each other. That's A-okay. I'm going to get back into the chapter. Arg! The Man of Steel cried as a soldier struck him in the back with its sword. Although the blade hadn't penetrated his skin, Superman felt weakened by the blow. A second soldier followed immediately with a powerful swipe of its mace. Its spike-covered iron ball drove Superman to the ground. Feel so weak. Can't get up, he gasped. Batman swung along the line of flagpoles, flipping from one to the next, grasping each with a gloved hand, then completing a full 360-degree circle with his body. With each completed turn, his powerful legs slammed into the approaching mummies, scattering them across the smooth marble floor. I can't keep this up forever, Batman thought, swinging to another flagpole. As his hands gripped the long metal pole, he decided it was time to go on the offensive. Spinning around the pole several times, he forced his full weight toward the ground at the bottom of his arc while at the same time yanking on the pole with all his considerable strength. Crack! The flagpole snapped from its mounting on the wall, and Batman landed in a crouch. Clutching the long metal staff. He charged toward the throng of onrushing attackers, carrying the flagpole like an oversized lance. One animated bundle of earth-stained rags stepped forward, its own lance extended before it, charging to meet Batman head-on. I can't believe this, Flash exclaimed. I know they call you the Dark Knight, but I never thought I'd see you in a jousting contest. All right. They're just writing puns for the Flash the whole time. I get he's a comedic kind of character, but like I feel like they're going a little heavy. Balancing the heavy pole as he propelled himself forward, making sure of his footing on the slick marble floor, Batman raced at his charging opponent, his cape billowing behind him as he ran. At the last possible second, as the tip of the flagpole was about to strike the soldier, Batman twisted his body, turning the pole to the side so that it reached across the line of advancing mummies. Clang! Batman smashed a dozen soldiers with a single blow, separating them from their weapons and shields, sending the ancient metal artifacts clanging across the floor. But his strategy also had an unexpected advantage. As the long metal shafts scraped against the metal of the weapons and shields, sparks erupted and splattered in all directions. Nearby soldiers burst into flames as the tiny friction-induced electrical charges tore through them. What is the Doctor doing this whole time? Nice shot, Bats! Flash called out. And those sparks! I saw them, Batman said, turning towards Superman, who lifted himself to his feet as his strength returned. You okay? I'm all right, Superman replied. What did I miss? The final wave of soldiers began to spread out, surrounding the three heroes on all sides. Flash! Batman called out. See if you could corral them into a tight group. Yippee-i-o-ki-yay! Flash cried, then sped... Why did he say that? Flash cried, then sped toward the perimeter of the approaching attackers, running around and around the cluster of soldiers, shoving those who were moving away from the group toward its center. The Flash forced the remaining mummies to bunch together. He became a blurry crimson fence, restricting their movements. Superman! Batman said, pointing to the ceiling. We need a live electrical wire to touch to the center of that group. In a blue and red blur, Superman flew up to an ornate chandelier. Being careful not to damage what he assumed to be a priceless antique, the Man of Steel plunged his fist into the ceiling beside it, chunks of plaster and dust filling the air. Grabbing hold of an electrical cable, he yanked it down through the hole. He then flew right at the center of the trapped soldiers, shoving the live wire into the open bandages of a writhing mummy. Zat! Hold on, am I on the 4th page? I think so. Sparks shot through the mummies, spreading quickly among the tightly grouped soldiers, turning their bandages into flaming torches. The creatures exploded apart, sizzling as they struck the floor. Within seconds, the smoldering army was reduced to a pile of ashes. I hope none of those exhibits are permanently damaged, Batman said as the smoke cleared. We'll check the back with Dr. Milton later, but for now, we should be going. So, the mummies came to life, the demon came to life, the dragon came to life. They all fought these things. They all just fought these guys in this antique museum, set some shit on fire, and then Batman says, well, I hope nothing's permanently damaged. Let's get out of here, guys. It doesn't seem very responsible. I understand why Cadmus needs to take down the Justice League. What are you guys up to? I want to draw. What should I draw? You should draw Celine Dion singing the Titanic song. I think he deleted them for a factual error. Nothing serious. Your vain attempts to cover your own behind fails to amuse anyone. Yer days. Flash feels more like Sonic with the puns. He does. I think I'm just gonna go full on Sonic voice for him. So like, is this Diego guy just a troll, or I'm calling it now? This book is trash. It's got its moments. If it was going to be all action, they could at least have put it in present tense to give it some immediacy and urgency. What do you think? I'm a wiki editor on a break. You ate the bait in my trap, and you're the only one to blame. Wow, that was way different than what I usually draw, but okay. You could draw George, I guess, who was named by the other guy. I have no time for bad faith actors. Please stop. Hey, I'm gonna be a good actor. I'm gonna be the best Flash you ever heard. I'm a good faith actor. Magic! Superman cried as the heroes of the Justice League stepped from the museum. Oh, can I do my Flash voice? Excuse me, Flash said. I mean, I love a good card trick as well as the next guy, but this is hardly the... This must be some potent form of magic, Superman continued, ignoring Flash's quip. That would explain a lot, Batman agreed. Yes, Superman said. Like the sudden appearance and disappearance of those ogres. The effect their axes had on me, not to mention what just happened here. What the heck is going on? Flash asked impatiently. Superman is vulnerable to the effects of magic, Batman explained. The ogre's axes must have been magically charged. That would also explain the statues and mummies coming to life in the museum. And why their swords weakened me, Superman said. It also explains why my heat vision didn't seem to harm that dragon. And it might also explain why those guys suddenly decided to take a stroll in Centennial Park, Flash exclaimed, pointing to a thick grove of trees. From among the trees, 3 large stone gargoyles who had leapt from a nearby building charged at Superman, Batman, and the Flash. The grotesque creatures of living rock carried long stone swords, which glowed eerily. Panic swept quickly through the park as those enjoying the beautiful day fled in terror at the sight of hideous sword-wielding beasts tramping through the lush landscape. A bicyclist slammed on her brakes and skidded to the ground. 2 inline skaters, both of whom had turned their heads to look at the gargoyles, crashed into each other, their protective helmets clacking. What are those things? An astonished jogger asked his running partner, swerving out of the way of the massive creatures. I don't know, his partner replied, but I'm sure they're not allowed on the jogging path. Swinging their glowing swords and stomping across the park, the gargoyles sliced through the trees and park benches in their way. Roar! I love all the what is it, onomatopoeias that they're putting in here. All the words that are just sounds. It's interesting. Finding himself face to face with the statue of a long-forgotten mayor of Metropolis, one gargoyle roared in anger, then sliced the frock-coated sculpture in half at the waist. That's when the gargoyles spotted the 3 heroes who braced for an attack. Separate! Batman said, let's try to split them up. Oh, that was a bad Batman voice. That was awful. Superman took to the air, flying at one gargoyle's midsection. Steady, he said to himself. Why is that in quotations instead of italicized? Got to avoid that sword. Spotting Superman's approach, the gargoyle raised his weapon. When the Man of Steel was within reach, the creature swung his sword at the streaking blue and red target before him. But at the last second, Superman veered sharply downward, flying mere inches above the ground. He grabbed the gargoyle's stony ankles and increased his speed. Startled, the enraged beast growled in frustration as he swiped his blade downward, aiming for Superman's arm, but unable to reach any part of his attacker's body. The creature howled with fury. Thwap! Superman rammed the gargoyle into the thick base of an ancient oak tree, separating him from his weapon and rendering the beast unconscious. Meanwhile, Flash sped around and around another gargoyle, slowing down long enough to create a tempting target, then increasing his speed at the beast, then increasing his speed as the beast repeatedly swung his weapon, hitting nothing. You call that a swing? Flash said, unable to resist taunting his enormous opponent, confident that he could easily outrun any attack. I swung better than that when I played Little League. The third gargoyle rushed at Batman. Timing his jump perfectly, the Dark Knight leapt out of the way of the creature's flailing sword, then somersaulted over his head, spun around, and locked his elbow around the beast's neck, holding on tightly as the enraged creature tried to toss him off. Batman maintained his grip like a rodeo cowboy on a bucking bronco. While the gargoyle was busy trying to shake Batman off his back, the Flash sped up to it and grabbed the sword from his hands. Yo, Soups! The Scarlet Speedster called out. He's all yours! With the dangerous weapon now out of the gargoyle's grip, Superman flew with his arms extended and fists clenched before him like an arrow into the beast's bulky midsection with a crushing blow. Timing his move perfectly, Batman fired a grappling batarang, which caught the branch of a nearby tree. The Dark Knight released his grip on the gargoyle's neck and swung clear as the Man of Steel struck with devastating impact. Still holding the glowing sword, the Flash sped back to the gargoyle he had been taunting. "Come on, Rock Boy!" the Flash shouted as he charged toward the third and final creature. "Just you and me, a little one-on-one." The creature raised his sword and swung just as the Flash lifted the heavy weapon he was holding. Zap! Plow! The two weapons met, stone striking stone, sending flashing red energy beams spreading in all directions. When the brilliant light faded, the gargoyles were gone, vanishing as quickly as they had appeared. Superman lay sprawled on the grass. Batman raced to his friend's side just as the Man of Steel began to stir. I'm all right, Superman said as he climbed to his feet. The impact of the two swords must have caused the release of magical energy, he said. Even as he spoke, he felt his strength slowly return. This is all tied This is all tied up with that crown, Batman said as activity in the park returned to normal. Let's see if we can find some answers with Dr. Milton's friends at that antique shop, Superman said. So that's the end of chapter 5. Let me go ahead and plop some notes into my doc. I don't think there was a lot that happened in this chapter. Oh, wait, did I accidentally... Wait, no, that was the ending of chapter 4. Okay, I got myself confused there for a second. So yeah, that was the ending of chapter 4. We've got like 3 gargoyles that are new to the scene. There was mention of Superman is weak to magic. I don't remember if that was ever shown on the show. So I'm just gonna put that in other clues. But there wasn't really anything else in that chapter. It was all just oh no, wait, there were the 2 joggers. What are you doing to the cat?
He keeps wanting to come in and out.
Well, just let him be. Leave the door open. Let him have fun. Okay, so there was 3 gargoyles, 2 joggers, and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, so what do you guys got going on over here? Not a lot. It looks like the numbers have dropped down a bit. I have inline skaters. There's a clue to the time period. Oh, you're not joking. They probably think the sound effect words are very comic book and therefore inherently good for a superhero novel. Yeah, I could see that being a thing. It was reminding me of like I said, I'm playing Lego Batman 3. And if you play as any of the Batman 66 characters, like whenever you punch thing, there's a thwack, twip, blah, blah, blah thing that shows up on the screen. It's really annoying, honestly. I hope man number 4 comes back in the story. I missed him. Are you talking about yeah. The guys that Batman took down. This book is weird. Oh, it definitely is. Heck yeah, the whole Dr. Fate Justice League episode, Superman spent the whole episode getting smacked around by magic. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Was Flash in that episode? If Flash was in that episode, then he should know by now. He even complained he couldn't punch through Dr. Fate's wall because of magic. Yeah, okay. Justice League doesn't really stick with me a lot. I feel like I've mentioned that before on the podcast. So that would make sense that would be in a Justice League thing. But let's see. So Superman is weak to magic, and Flash doesn't seem to know. So I guess I'll go back to that episode, double check things, and make sure if the Flash knows or not. Flash was not there. Okay, well there you have it. Have you ever read the novelization of the first Spider-Man movie? It's actually really good. I haven't. I did own that for a while. So I used to. I think when I was in middle school. Whenever I would visit my mom for the weekend, she lived right around the corner from my grandma, and my grandma has a huge library in her house of those smut novels that you see at the dollar store. I'm talking shelves and shelves and shelves of them. She tries to act as if it's not smut, because she's like, they're all from a historical point of view and blah 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 blah. Like anytime anyone points out to her that she's just reading a bunch of smut. But so in order to build up her collection, she would always take us with her to the the used bookstore that was like right down the block. And while she's trying to find the 3 smut novels that she doesn't already own, like we're all looking through everything. And I used to buy a lot of superhero books from that store. I think that might actually be where I got this book. I know I had the Spider-Man novelization. I had a couple of the X-Men novelizations, and then there were a few other like Spider-Man, X-Men books. There was a Daredevil book that I was really into for a while. And I want to say while I was reading that Daredevil book, it was like when I started realizing that like my eyes have a problem of like drying up really bad. If you notice, like I blink a lot, and sometimes like I just go like that and everything because like my eyes just like have a hard time doing the thing eyes should do. But yeah, so that's the story of how I got Spider-Man the novelization and never read it, and my grandma bought smut novels. It's written by Peter David too. Who is Peter David? I don't know if I know Peter David off the top of my head. I'm so bad with literature. This might be the first book that like I'm making an attempt to read all the way through in a long time. Peter David, other than like comics, of course, wrote a bunch of Star Trek, wrote some Hulk, wrote some Supergirl. Okay, so he's a big old nerd. It was Diana, Superman, and Hawkgirl at the Dr. Okay, gotcha. Am I reading this for a video? Ultimately, everything DCAU, we hope to make a video on. I don't know specifically what the video for this book will be, but I assume at some point we'll do a Will It Canon. I don't know if it will be just this book or if it will be like this is like 1 out of 9 in a series, I want to say. So I don't know if like I'll be done with this book and then we'll do a Will It Canon on the book and have it like one for each book, or if we'll do one for all of the books altogether. But we'll probably do a Will It Canon that will involve this book. If it does work out, then we'll end up doing a timeline video. Once again, I don't know if just for this book or for the whole series of books. And I mean, James might even want like a book review video. I don't know if that's something that he thinks would be a worthwhile endeavor or not. If he does, that could be kind of funny. But I don't know. I haven't written a book report in a while, so I don't know if I'm up to the challenge of that. I'm sure there's some funny stuff to come out of it though. Special guest appearances by Aquaman and Grundy. Okay, gotcha. So that's everybody in that episode. That's the entire episode. That was the one with like the Cthulhu thing, I think. Sup, guys? Hey, Fingianly Terrible, you are late by like an hour. I don't but that's okay. Last time I did these, or the last one I did, I think I only did an hour long. It's 5 o'clock right now, so like I don't know. Do you guys want to call it and then do like? I feel like 2 chapters every week might work out. And it is at a point where like we went from 12 watching to 4 watching, so it's kind of like, do it? Do I keep going? Do I not? So I don't know. What are you guys? Peter David created Spider-Man 2099. Okay, and wrote a lot of Spider-Man and Hulk. Cthulhu, got it. So yeah, I feel like I'm caught up with the chat. We dropped from 12 watching to 5 watching, so I don't know if it's worthwhile to read another chapter right now and keep going. What do any of you guys have any opinions? Should I save it for next week? Please don't stop. It's awesome. There's one vote. There's 1 out of 4 votes. That's a 25% approval rating. That's better than some people. It's up to you, man. I'll stay if you keep going. I think I might call it. There's 9 chapters and then a prologue. So if I do 2 chapters every week, that leaves me with chapter 9 and the prologue on the last week. On the book, no opinions, but I love the opportunity to pick your brain. Well, I mean, if you guys want to, if you guys are wanting to ask questions or something, that's cool too. Read more, please. Let me. Okay, so I'll look and see how long the next chapter is, and if it's gonna be like more than 4 or 5 pages, then I'm probably just gonna call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's good. Yeah, that's gonna be 10 pages. That's like another 30 minutes or so. I think I'm gonna save the chapter for the next go around. But if you guys have anything else that you want to pick my brain about, I'm right here for the next couple minutes. So feel free to drop questions. But if no questions show up in the next couple seconds, then I'm gonna call it, because I can't have a one-sided conversation. I can't be the only one talking and then you guys be not talking, because then I'll run out of things to talk about, and you'll get this, which is basically me just kind of repeating myself. What's the next VP about? Good question. Next Vanishing Point comes out tomorrow morning, and it is about all of the it's about all of the retcons that went into Return of the Joker. I figured it would be fun to do something that can have a really clickbaity title. So like we're calling it like what really happened when the Joker died. So that'll be a lot of fun. Work is all right. Although it's kind of a bummer. Like working on a food truck, I don't work 5 days a week. I worked Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm off the rest of the week, which is fine. I need the time to like study for my physics class, because my final exam is on Saturday, but it's I need the money, that's why, like I said earlier, I contacted my my night job again to try to kind of get things rolling to get me back in over there, because like I said earlier, I've only got $10 left in my paycheck after paying bills. And this is the paycheck right before flying down to Georgia. So fuck if I know how all that's going to work. It's going to be a wild time. How long does it take on average for you guys to come up with timeline videos? I don't know. It really, I guess it kind of just depends on what specifically we're looking at. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff that like I've had notes for forever, whereas there's other stuff like say Superman. It's weak. I feel like my head's too low on the frame, but like there's been other stuff like Superman the animated series where it's like for some reason that show just doesn't click with me. Kind of like Justice League doesn't click with me a lot, but Superman the animated series, like I'll watch it and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. Like I keep memory of it more than the Justice League show, but like watching it just feels like a chore. And so like I still am taking notes on that, despite the fact that I started forever ago. So it really depends from project to project. And like, say something like Justice League versus the Fatal Five, had we not had all the timeline notes that we had already put out before that, it probably would have taken us forever to figure out when that movie takes place. Like we would have known after Justice League, but okay, what time is that? When is that? It's definitely it depends from project to project. They tend to get easier as we go along, but then stuff like Superman just kind of drags me down. I'm looking forward to the next VP. I'm looking forward to it too. I put a joke in tomorrow's video based off of the football conversation that was had in the Discord. That was a lot of fun, and I am excited about it. Not a lot of people will get it, but I got a good chuckle out of it when I watched when James sent it to me this morning for review. You looking forward to Spider-Man Far From Home? Yes, absolutely. I was with the whole so I was of the mind of quitting the MCU after Endgame because of the whole James Gunn thing. Now that he's been reinstated, like that's not where I'm at right now. But I know like going into Captain Marvel, I was feeling like really down about it all. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not really excited about this movie. Like I just want to have the context for Endgame, and then I'll be done with everything. And then they were like, hey, James Gunn is back. So I'm excited about everything Marvel again. Disney's going to own me one day. Let's see. Is anyone chronicling the overall timeline? Is anyone chronicling the overall timeline as it currently stands based on the work you've already done? Kind of. So I am very bad at keeping everything in order. But we have started a spreadsheet to try to do so. And I don't know if we're being very up to date on it. But we were wanting to have a timeline page up on the website shortly. I don't know how soon. James and I have been talking about it for a couple. My nose is really itching. I think it's because did I pick up the cat? I don't remember, but it's cat allergies. But yeah, we're wanting to have a timeline page up shortly. And so what we were doing a couple months ago was going back through all of the pertinent Watchtower database videos just to be like, okay, we got this all laid out and put it all in a spreadsheet. But I think we fell behind on that. I don't know where the plan is right now, but we're kind of up to date. We're just not like fully up to date. But yeah, we're chronicling. I can help with stats if you need. I love that show. So I'm almost done with it. I'm in the third season. The placement's still kind of shaky to me. But I'm hoping that like with Superman Adventures added in, that maybe it'll become a bit more clear. I think there was one Superman Adventures that like specifically had the year 1997 in it. So that might be like a linchpin point. But like other than that, I feel like that was a pretty self-contained adventure. So I can't really say for sure about anything, but that's how it be. By the way, how's your rebirth timeline stuff going? Because I'm really curious about it. So So I mentioned the rebirth timeline on Twitter and in the podcast. I may have mentioned it on the Discord. But essentially, what my goal was initially was to go through Tom King's Batman and look at all of the editorial notes, and then map out like which issues of other comics you would need to read to go into that. And then for like crossover events like the Night of the Monsterman, the Button, and the Price, anything that crossed over, I would put the entire run up to the point of the crossover, rather than looking at editorial notes just to be like, oh, this issue of Flash, this issue of Nightwing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it started off doing that. And then from like the other books that I added, I would add on from the editorial notes in those. And it's getting real wild. There's a lot going on. And I'm trying to get it all pretty much up to date before I start reading Year of the Villain, because holy shit, there are like 20 books in that crossover. So there's going to be a lot to add on. Right now, though, I'm just going off of editorial notes. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a timeline per se, because like I'm not reading everything to be like, okay, this amount of months passed through here, yada yada yada. I'm just like flipping through books really quick to just be like, editorial note, no, editorial note, yep, there's one, okay, and moving on to the next. But like having it all mapped out in a little chart. That way I can end up returning to it and doing timeline stuff if I choose to do so. I'm not really 100% sure what the goal is of this project, because I feel like with how much it's sprawled out, there's going to be too much information for like a narrow video, and I feel like if I was like, hey James, we're putting out a 2-hour video on the DC Rebirth timeline, he would probably shoot me in the fucking face for how much editing that would necessitate. So I don't know what the full plan is, but it's happening. I don't know how long it'll take, but it is in the works. How many times have you watched Batman the Animated Series? Was I supposed to keep count? Because I didn't. I don't know. I've watched all of the episodes a lot of times. Some more than others, but I've watched all of the episodes a lot of times. Hell yeah, football. Miami Dolphins #1. I feel like I mentioned this in the Discord because I think you brought up the Miami Dolphins over there. The old bassist to my band was huge on Miami Dolphins. I think he... You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should hit him up about a job because I think he's moving out to Seattle and needed people to work for him. I might have to do that. Dare I ask, could I take a peek if it's possible? Your timeline stuff has been crucial for my own personal projects. I'll try to find the document that we've got. And make a copy of it to shoot over to you. But I don't know. I might also have to chit chat with James before making any of that public. I mean, all of the information that's in that document is stuff that we've already had, out and about. But I don't know if he wants the compiled version shared with anyone yet. I got a TP, I guess that's a trade paperback of Superman Adventures. If I find anything, I'll hit you boys up. I think I've gotten through like the first 30 or 40 issues of Superman Adventures. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've actually like sat down with those notes. I cover the team, so it's kind of my thing. LOL. Thanks, man. But yeah, okay. So I think all right, yeah. So I think we're up to snuff with all of everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's like almost 5:20. My stomach's starting to get a little rumbly. I think it might be time for me to start working on dinner. But this was fun. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what my schedule's going to be next week. Like I said, I've been talking to my my night job from before about coming back to work. We haven't set up a schedule or anything yet, so I don't know if I'll be working Wednesday night or not. If I am, I will put out an announcement on Twitter or in the Discord, and then we'll go from there as far as scheduling goes. But if I'm not, then we can expect another Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't you think WB should make a Dark Knight's Metal movie? I actually haven't read Dark Knight's Metal yet. James and Ted both read that before I started buying comics religiously. And I think their reviews of it on the podcast kind of was what got me to be like, okay, well, then I'll hop in at No Justice and, at the wedding. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, everything's happening at once. I need to read all of these books. So if they want to make a Dark Knight Metal movie, I'm all for it, but I don't know the story that well. Man, I want pizza. Pizza sounds so good. The only metal thing I've read is Sideways. I don't even know what that is off the top of my head. Yeesh. But yeah, okay. So like I said, Right now, we're going to shoot for next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Why are you pushing politics on James, you nerd? Let that man be. Okay, so James does agree with me politically, like I think 90% of the time, maybe more so. But we play it. That specific line was playing off as a joke. Like he obviously didn't need to put that line into the last video if he didn't want to, but I think he thought it was funny to do so, so he did. There's no actual animosity between the two of us as far as political points go. There is a guy who was a fan of the channel who is very, very, very far right wing, and has like sent Ted an email a little while ago talking about like, one day you and Maddie will get into a disagreement and you'll see just how intolerant he is. And so that's if it looks like on the outside James and Ted and I are arguing about anything, more likely than not it is jokingly in reference to that email. But there's no bad blood between any of us on political standings or anything else. Whenever we do put political stuff into the videos, we do try to have a conversation about it beforehand. Whether it's worthwhile to do so or not. So there's not a lot of political stuff in our videos, but it does come through every now and then. We're all left-leaning guys, and I'm of the belief that there has been a huge right-wing co-opting of nerd media in general. There's a lot of, because of the whole like Comicsgate and Gamergate movements. There's been a lot of just vitriolic stuff coming. It might not even be right-wing. It might be kids who don't really even know what their political leanings are or anything, but the adults who create content and push that stuff to younger audiences is detrimental, I believe, to their expanding as people. And so in my opinion, I feel like there needs to be a moderate to left-leaning counter to that, because a lot of the people who I feel like would be lefties in the nerd culture creators sphere of influence seem to be a little bit more silent about it because they don't want to anger those crowds, and that's completely understandable. But I feel like it's my duty with people who are still trying to figure out their standing in the world and everything like that. Like, I know a lot of our viewers are younger. I feel like it's good to kind of give them influence from another side that they might not be seen as much of, if that makes sense. Sideways is like the Spider-Man-like character that can teleport through dimensions. That sounds cool. That also kind of sounds like, what is it? Is it Link Between Worlds or something like that? Who edits the videos? So for Sunday videos, for podcasts, and for graphic content, James edits all of those. On Vanishing Point, recently we've had Jay from Jay's Reviews do a lot of the edits, but I've been super late in getting them to him lately because of how hectic my schedule has been. So James did, I think, the last two, and then the one that comes out tomorrow, James did as well, because because Jay's got finals coming up, as do I. So Jay wasn't able to do it, and James picked up the slack. Not to say Jay's slacking. Jay is busy, just as I am busy. I'm hoping to eventually learn to to do video editing myself. I used to do it back in the day. You could probably find some AMVs out there that would have that were done by me. But like that was in high school, and I haven't done much video editing since then, so I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on as far as video editing software or anything. Everything I did was on Windows Movie Maker, so it's like kind of out of the game for a while. Fair enough. As a conservative, I disagree with your sentiments, but the most important thing I like to see is a strong discussion of ideas, respect to all, and less name calling. Sorry, I called you a nerd. No, being called a nerd is fine. I mean, that is what I am. You know, I'm open to discussion on things. I can't say that I won't think you're wrong, but I'm open to discussion on things. I was raised in the South in a very conservative household. My dad is a conservative radio talk show host, and so I came from that background. I know I know that viewpoint, and as I got older, I came to terms with thinking that viewpoint's not necessarily the one that works. Even then, like, I don't even think a lot of the times I don't even think the Democrats know what they're doing. I don't think they're doing things properly either. So there's there's some area for agreement in some, and like in both sides, there's area for disagreement. But yeah, the most I feel like the most important thing is for conversation, so long as it's coming from a good faith place of speaking, and that and that it's not like just you know, trying to shut each other down, or using hate speech or something like that, if that makes sense. But I think that's where I'm going to go ahead and leave all of this on for right now. I stayed with you guys for another 30 minutes past when I was planning to. So like I said, planning for the next time to be Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time again. But if that doesn't work out, I will post something about it on Twitter or on Discord, or I might even just post like a quick, like, hey, got a work schedule. Here's when the next live show will be going on the YouTube channel itself. I'm not sure yet, but right now the plan is for 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm going to try to get my grub on. I love y'all. Have fun out there. Bye.